task, prove it to yourself that, look, if I can do these small things, I can do the bigger things. Because no one's going to trust you doing the bigger things if you can't do the small things correctly.
Yes. Can each of you, can we go down the line and each of you describe a typical day for you? You starting now? Sure.
Well, my days are definitely in front of the computer, which is something I love. I love being in my computer all day, so that's fine with me. The nature of my job, what we do is matching. We're matching work IDs to performance data. So it's my job to do a lot of research, whether it be across several different databases or just on the internet. Maybe some guy made a YouTube comment where he mentions who wrote the song. Maybe he mentions what song it's a cover of. And it's just about doing the research to find the correct work to match with our performance data. And where performance data comes from, we have a lot of different music users, music suppliers. So Spotify, Pandora, iRadio, Apple sends us their data, and the vast majority of it is auto-matched. But it's my job to figure out the rest of it. The rest of the stuff we don't have registrations for. So it's my job to make sure the share lists are correct, make sure the writers and publishers have the accurate share lists, and it's mostly just a lot of research.
My day-to-day is honestly different every day. Today, there's a lot of companies within the company. I'm overseeing how to create synergy within the company and bring culture to the company. So today I had a meeting with people that work in each department, and I'm helping them figure out how we can make one cohesive company and rebrand the company. So that's like very different than what I did last week. It's kind of a different task all the time. I'm starting event booking there, which is something that I've never done before. So I'm now learning the events department and their contracts and licenses, and helping them figure out how to bring more concerts to our venue. But it's different. It's kind of different every day.
For me, it's like fighting a war.
I hope you got good people in the trenches with you.
Yeah, I do. Just because I assist 3 talent buyers in booking for Live Nation, and all have 3 different personalities, all like things done different in a certain way. So more of like when I get into the office, my day is I already have a set schedule of what I did complete the day before, and I check my email. Well, I checked all 3 of their voice messages, see if the agent calls if they need anything for my presence, and then I go through my email and kind of figure out, prioritize which needs the most attention. Like I send around confirmation sheets, which go out through our New York database for the rest of Live Nation in New York, and what's on these confirmation sheets are ticketing, show info, our different ticket prices, and box office or Ticketmaster will build these shows based on how we built the deal with the music agent. And so once I send out all of my confirmations, I check in our placeholders as well for different venues that we book within New York City and New Jersey. And once the agent wants to confirm a date, I'll clear the rest of the other holds we have within our calendars, and then we'll get contracts back from them. We'll confirm a show, and I'll build more. It's a repetitive, cycle for me. And when you want to celebrate on one show, that's when the next show just pops up in your head, and you just go, oh, we got to do this now. Like, for example, we worked with Demetra over at Emerson Ballroom, which we booked Future and Metric.
Both great shows.
Thank you. Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you would think, oh, that was a successful night for us, but we got maybe 4 different shows happening at the same night between Madison Square Garden, Barclays, our smaller rooms, Urban Plaza down the street, or Grand Mason Theater. quickly, otherwise we lose money.
What are some of your goals for working in the industry in the future? If you have them, if you don't, that's fine too. Do you guys have any specific goals for yourself as far as like, you know what, within the next couple of years, I'd like to try to be at this point?
Well, with my industry in particular, it's going through a lot of changes right now, legally, in terms of royalty distributions. I'm sure you've read numerous times about Spotify, Pandora not paying those royalties, and there's going to be a lot of changes that come with that. So something that I would like to eventually get involved with is maybe work up a little higher at my company, or maybe transition to a different company, that maybe a new startup that deals with royalty administration that is going to help actually collect from those companies, and maybe a more digital way, because the PRO system has been around for a long time. It's getting a little antiquated. So there's going to be a massive shift in the industry in how we collect those digitally, and I'd like to be at the forefront of that, either legally or just from a management standpoint.
Can I ask you, just to piggyback off of Frank's question, in addition with your future goals, have any of you thought about doing more on the education front? Collecting another degree or certification or anything as part of your future goals?
Well, personally, just in terms of working in an office, something that I've gotten into a little more is training other employees, which is something I really enjoy. So I think that, yeah, definitely something in education would be along those lines as well. And that's just another aspect of working in an office, working for a company. There's a lot of different skills you pick up, a lot of things you get involved in that maybe you weren't expecting, like training or education, and to find out kind of what suits you. And personally, yeah, education could be in my future, I think.
I think it could be in my future as well. Just because I like enjoying passing on information and try to guide people as much as possible. Because I had the same mentorship, from whether it's from the teachers here or people that's worked in the music business. So I feel like it's like almost like my given duty to pass what I've learned down to other people. Hopefully they can utilize it to become successful in their own life. So I could see me being educated in the future.
I guess I'll never say no to anything because you just never know. For me, I would like to work on events that educate people more so than actually doing the educating. But I mean, education is key, and I would love to. I support that in any way. Being an actual teacher, I'll leave that to the people that are really good at it. I love students. I think I love the fact that we're even doing this. I think is just incredible. But I'll never say no to anything. I'll always come and join in on this whenever I can. But I'd like to put on events where we did panels like this. I'd like to be in the background and kind of getting great thinkers together and helping educate people in that way.
I have one more. Do you have one?
I have one more.
Go for it.
So, I think it's been really great to talk to you guys and hear about all of your wonderful successes and you are becoming established. But no one here is perfect.
What?
Newsflash. And sometimes, I think, you look at other people who are successful and say, oh, I wish I was like that, not realizing that those people made mistakes too. And I'm sure you guys have made your fair share. I know I have. So talk about, maybe some things that you wish you had done differently. And, you don't have to get too specific, but, maybe talk about some of your mistakes or maybe some missed opportunities and, how you handled it, how you recovered from it.
Well, definitely within my own company, a problem that I had kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about not wanting to network, not really wanting to shake hands, not wanting to meet people. And just within my organization, I think when I first started working at the company, I made sure I did the work on time, I did a thorough quality job, and I thought that was enough. But I wasn't getting as involved as I should have been, and I think I missed out on some opportunities there to move up within management because I wasn't getting involved, I wasn't asking questions, I wasn't being curious enough, and I think that sort of held me back for a little bit. I'm trying to get better about that within my own organization in terms of just getting involved, being a presence, not being an invisible employee. Because you could do quality work all the time, you're always on time, you do your job, but it takes more than that to move up in an organization. You really have to show your face, you have to show that you're curious, you have to show that you care about what's going on internally at the company. And that's something that I've been working on personally.
That's a great answer.
All right.
You guys, any mistakes or opportunities?
My mistake is I'm still relatively young. I'm 27 in case of but my mistake
That's
is
young. That's young.
My mistake is I wish I would have pursued my passion, which is music, a lot earlier. When I was 22 and I moved to Kansas City, just trying to figure out, my life and what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. And so I went to trade school initially, which I did 4 years of trade school, like how to weld, build construction buildings, which is a great career within the union. But further down the line, I figured, this is not for me. It's not what my heart is. It's not what my passion is. It's not what I want to be involved in. And that's one of the reasons why I came here to learn more about music and into this program, because I said, I want to wake up every day and be, this is not a job. This is, I love doing this. This is what I want to do. And that was my mistake. Is I wish I would have knew that earlier in my life, because now it's probably almost close to maybe going on 8 years in the music business. Well, I decided that earlier, and it's great because I look at some of these guys who I talk to on a daily basis. I don't know if you know, like Anthony Soleil. I don't know if you guys know him. He's Nas's manager. He's Future's manager. And this, when I talk to him, I said it's interesting because he's my age. He's 28, but he started managing Nas, or begins to start working with Nas when he was 20. So he's had 8 years in business. And for me, that was intriguing. Just having conversations with him at our shows to say, hey, you're a young guy, but you had that much experience with the business, and you knew what you wanted to do, and you stuck with it. So here's my advice is, figure it out, in your heart and what you want to do, and your passion is, and stick with that. And be repetitive about it, be persistent about it, and you will be wherever you wake up, wherever you go to bed and you dream about it, you'll be wherever you want to be.
Are they recording this? Like, come on.
What's said here stays here.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think when I went to school here, I wish I was more involved. I really do. I think that's probably, even though, I have a job now and I'm doing amazing, I wish I paid more attention to the things they were teaching me in school, because I learned a lot while I was here. And a lot of the things that I didn't think would affect me or would be carried on were the things that mattered most once I was in the work world. Like a lot of the things here that I was like, oh, that's not so important. It's like you can't, because you're not in the workforce yet, you can't decide what's important to learn and what is not important to learn. You're paying for this education, When you leave here, you're paying for this education. So make it worth your while. Really focus while you're here. I mean, from the contracts to even Sultanov, I think he had to go get his son. But even Sultanov's class, I remember being in there and he knows, I'm like, But honestly, like, then I come back and I'm like, the things that he teaches that, you don't think are effective in the work world really are. And even like accounting, I still can't do accounting, but I'm smart enough to know everything that goes into it, so I will hire an accountant now and not do TurboTax. You know, like, there's just like certain things that you take from here that will help you be better. And so I guess that's my biggest thing is I wish that I wasn't working 2 jobs and that I was focused in here. If you can keep that internship and get that internship when you're done here, that is like the biggest advice I could give to you. Do not separate yourself into all of these, doing all of these different tasks. Focus while you're here, because the more you learn here, the more you're going to get paid on the other side.
So with Evan's question, everybody basically answered my next one. So I'll just, I guess, loosely ask it anyway. So what is the best advice you could give someone looking for a job? Because these guys are about to get out and start doing stuff. Some of them are already out going to do that. So, I mean, if you had to pick one singular thing, and once again, I know we've kind of covered it already, but if you had to really pick one thing, what would be the best advice you could give everybody who's you know, looking up, or just about to start looking, or looking at it?
Well, anybody that's still in the program or in the middle of the program, I'd say to take your time at IAR and don't think about it as something for your eventual life in the music industry. Like, think of your career as already having started. Your career is already happening here at IAR. Like, treat it like a job, take it seriously, trust your teachers and listen to them, and don't be afraid to ask. Just ask your teachers for help. Ask them to help you. Never ask just like what you can do, because that's why they're here, they care, and just take it seriously.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the people that are in this building are your resources. They've all worked in the industry. It's not like they're just here to teach you because they want to make a paycheck. Like, they're here because they have worked in this industry and they know elements of it that they can pass that on to you. It's mentorship. Every teacher that you have in this building is your mentor. And not even just your teacher, the people that are in student services, those are your mentors. Learn as much as you can from them. Be respectful of them. Know that whatever relationship you're creating with your teacher, if you get on that workforce and you don't have a good relationship with your teacher, or, you know, you weren't respectful, or whatever it is, like, that can burn you in the end. Because these are the people that are going to be vouching for you. And you can go out in the world and vouch for yourself as much as you want. But if you actually have, like, an army of people behind you being like, you know, they were on time, they applied themselves, they learned, you know, that's what you need. So I would really suggest, like, while you're here, be on point.
For me, if you plan on being in the music business, the business side of things, it's be professional. Don't waste people's time. Because if you're on the business side, you want to have this aura of you that, you know, people can say, oh, you know what, he gave me his word and I trust him to it, and it's going to make me better. And that's a key, because you don't want to waste people's time. I feel like a lot of, especially if you're working in the music business, everything happens at a quick pace. So if you say something to someone, and everyone, it's a very small industry as well, everyone knows it, everyone, if you say something to someone, make sure you do it. Otherwise, everyone will just know you as, oh, the kid that just says stuff. You don't want to be known as that. You want to be known as someone that, you know, follows through what they say what they're going to do. Yep, and very reliable. Something professional.
Yeah, I think when you go out to these events and stuff and you are meeting people, even if it's like a small showcase or whatever it is, you are your company. You represent yourself. And when you are tied into another company, you still represent yourself and that company. So how you represent yourself is what's going to get you further in this industry. So just represent yourself well. You know, when you're going to these events, don't get drunk. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, don't drink club soda. You know, fake it. Really, I'm telling you that you have to be on. That's actually
really incredible.
Yeah, you have to be on your game, because if you're not on your game, the next person is. Next person next to you is. This is a cutthroat industry, and like he said, don't waste people's time. If you say you're going to get back to someone, get back to them immediately. You meet someone, send them a follow-up email the minute you're walking out the door, so they remember you.
This has been great.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, Ryan and I have asked a bunch of questions, but I think we're going to open it up to you guys in case we didn't cover everything, although I feel like we said a lot today.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think at this point we're going to open it up for a few minutes of Q&A from all of you guys out there. So don't make me call on you, and don't be shy. Perfect.
I have
Yes.
a question for what do you say your last name?
Joshua.
Alex Leroy.
Sorry, I'm trying to years.
Sorry about that. All right. How do you manage? I mean, how do you go about working in Live Nation, and then you have like your artist management thing? Like, how is that working out for you?
That's a very interesting question. Because you gotta want it more than the next person. Not just to outprove anyone else. You want to prove it to yourself that you can handle certain things. I try to be in the office before anyone else is there. I try to be the last one in the office. The only reason that I left early today at 6, which is my normal time, is because I wanted to come, speak with you guys and share some insight so you can be successful. But that's how I'm in the office. If at 10, I leave at 10. So 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that's on top of taking phone calls for the 3 people I assist, and along from Rudy, who I manage this client with, and try to get his career set. So it's just you just gotta want it more than anything else, and only you can determine what you want. Just gotta go for it.
Anybody else? All right. You guys are great. Nope. Not a single. No. All right.
You know what?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I got a question for Alex from Ascap. How important is it to register your music knowing there's so much new music coming out every single day?
I'd say it's really important if you want to be making money from it, because there's so many different music users out there. It's impossible really for a performer to know where the music's being performed, where it's being used. I can't tell you how many times I've seen artists pop up every quarter and just never register the work. I've actually reached out to bands I like on Facebook. There's a grand sitting here for you, like register this, and they don't get back to me. So I'd say it's really important to have it out there, because you never know what the fate of your song is going to be. You never know if it's going to be used by some service, because a lot of these services will use like really obscure music because they know they could avoid these big payments. And there's a lot of artists that are they're being used by these fringe music users, and you just never know. So it's really important to get it registered. Definitely.
Okay.
Good question, Mark. Yes, sir.
I'd like just quickly each of you to give me your thoughts on computer use, just basic skills, because I see so many people that don't have the most basic computer use skills, and I think that that's in almost any industry super important just to have the basics down. So, your thoughts on that?
Well, it's definitely really important to be savvy. I mean, I can't think of any job really in this industry where you're not going to use a computer a little bit. You can use your smartphone a little bit. Like, just even in terms of making sure you stay connected to the organization. Like, I've made sure that I get notifications on my email from the company. I know some of my coworkers don't do that, and they don't get back promptly because of that. That's really important. Making sure you have GChat on your phone ready to go, but those are pretty basic.
Communication was one of the aspects I was.
Definitely, communication is really important. Knowing how to use all those different services, and really just being a computer user and knowing how to be efficient, and knowing how to use Excel really well.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit on it with the Excel.
Pivot tables. Pivot tables.
This is a question for all three. What are some obstacles you guys face, like day to day? Like things that you find hard, or things that you want to achieve, and things that are just in your way,
For me, I face a lot of different obstacles because I deal with 3 different personalities. But I know, like, for example, our vice president, this lady named Stacey George, I know she likes things done ASAP. Like, as soon as you get the email, you gotta reply like within 5 minutes. Otherwise, you hear her screaming. But it's just, learn how, like how Alex said, how efficient in your time. And being computer savvy, I mean, if you can learn, just the basics of computing, because this job moves very quickly. And if you can't keep, up to the pace of the job, you'll be left behind.
So, my question is, I know when I teach in the classroom, the first thing I put on the board are all the blogs and all the industry news, and I say the importance of keeping up with the changes in the industry, not just what you learn in the classroom, but every single day. And it seems like I read today about bands in town partnering up with Ticketmaster, or it could be Sony ATV and Paul McCartney. I was just wondering, what have you found since leaving school in terms of the importance of like staying current with industry news, trends, blogs, and also which ones you may follow, or which magazines or industry blogs or papers or whatever you utilize?
My organization actually sends out a daily newsletter with seriously 6 or 7 different articles from around the industry, how it's affecting royalties, how it's just affecting our business. And it is really important to stay up on that, because that's a lot of the reasons why you might get hired at these companies is because you're a young, current person that they think is going to be, aware of what the trends are, because you're at the front line of the people they're trying to reach with their business. So it is important that you know what's going on in the industry, whatever area you want to be in. And that's exactly what they're looking for. Someone who's on the cutting edge, someone who knows where it's going, where it is.
Oh, what's it called again? The newsletter?
Oh, it's internal. So
I was going to say, can I get on that
I can
email
forward
list?
it.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, it's robust.
That's your own email.
There's like 7 articles a day. I don't know how they expect us to read that, but it's pretty.
Read the headlines, I guess, right?
Yeah, the headlines stuff. Oh, that.
I actually start my day with that. Like, I go online and I read from like independent music that's going on to concerts that are going. Like, I like to set up my weeks based on the concerts that are going on in the city and kind of work my schedule out with that, or what events are going on. Networking events are huge; they're all over the place. But I go online and like the first thing I do in the morning is read what's going on within the events industry. Now that I'm doing that, the studio industry. I mean, studios are closing down all around New York City, so I kind of have to keep up with that. Because it's like kind of a broad spectrum of what I'm doing. Like, I'm now doing a podcast with conductors, so I'm learning about orchestras and their setup, and conductors and different things like that. So I kind of read pretty much anything that's going to touch base on any industry that I'm trying to get involved in, and it's it's easy reads and it's fun reads. Like what's going on with social media, or with royalties and all that stuff. You need to know all of it. So I suggest like really starting your day with that. Like I have my coffee and I have my computer and I go through everything that's kind of in the press that day.
We have an internal newsletter that Live Nation sends out, and that's mainly stating what we're doing here nationally in the U.S. and even overseas. So I think it's very important, because a lot of times like touring from France reach out that they want to do a band here in the United States and that we're booking on them. So you kind of get to see on these newsletters about what their band is doing, what other bands they're playing. We also use Star, which my vice president, he gets him a new issue like every morning, it seems like, and I hand him to it. That comes from our delivery department, and it's a good way for him to kind of gauge how well other artists are doing in different markets. So for when they play in New York and New Jersey, he knows what the ticket price should be. He knows what venue they should play. He knows if they should be on a festival, or if they would sell or something like that. And another one is Billboard as well. I try to read that daily. It's funny that
That's what we did in school.
Barry brought this up because this was yesterday. We're all sitting, our whole floor is sitting on, we're all sitting working at like 11 a.m. and one of us reads a Billboard article that says, "Oh, Live Nation buys half a governor's ball all look up and tell each other. It's like, how are we the last one to know this? So we start laughing at each other. Then our president walks by and just starts smiling like, what? And I was like, when are you going to tell us that we bought a festival out? And so it's very important, you know, because otherwise you won't know that. There's a lot of like executives. I don't know if you guys are aware of my CEO, Mike. He will come to New York. He's based out of LA, but he will come to New York, and you know he'll have these big meetings, which they're coming on, you know, they're opening a new venue, they're buying the festival, and one of the good ways is when you get out of your meeting is things like Billboard, Billboard and Post Office, and stay on top of things.
Anybody else?
Oh yeah, just one thing. Alex, we're going viral again in 6 minutes. They reposted on one star.
This is Rudy, everybody. Rudy, over here.
Always working, always working. Always be close.
Anybody else? Sorry.
Thanks for looking up from your phone.
Yes.
What would you guys like get over that barrier necessarily would have any like experience in the music business like that? So,
What have you done, like you're saying, like, so you specifically are asking, what have you done before? Like, what jobs have you?
retail and like competition. Some school, but like I have my associate's degree, but we have like super hours on my
I would honestly sit down and think of the jobs that you've had, whether it's like from the smallest thing or like doing retail or whatever, and write down the things that you learned doing retail, like the organization aspects of it. You know, the jobs that you have that might seem like that can't be applied to this, can be applied to this. Everything you have done can be applied to what you want to do. So I would sit and think of all the things that you learned doing those jobs. And those are qualifications for you to work at another place.
And go get yourself an internship.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
go do something, anything.
Anything.
Like these guys said, you know, take tickets, do wristbands. You know what I'm saying? But you know, there's no shortage of those dues paying type of jobs, and you need to go do as much of that as you reasonably can. Because that, along with the experience that you're gaining, you know, doing retail, which is a whole lot of customer service records. When I hire people, I say, oh, you know, do you have any customer service experience? No. Okay, well, guess what? Everything you do for me is going to be either an internal or an external customer. So if you don't have customer service experience, then this is a short conversation, right? So you need to play up your strengths and do some internships so that you can, you know, make sure that you have something to I mean, you already have something to bring to the discussion, you do, but you want a little bit more, and you want to feel more confident in what you do have, so